The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Yeah, we're off 4 or 5 points on the S&P cash. The NASDAQ, we're up about 6 points, and that continues to fall where all the money is kind of going into a handful of NASDAQ stocks. Even looking at Apple, that sold off for a little while today and kind of pushing up here later in the day, although the options look incredibly weak on most of these. In fact, Apple shows, which is generally very accurate, one of the more accurate stocks out there for options, pointing to where these things will expire, shows 150 coming in this morning. I'm thinking 152.50 probably by next Friday, 150 maybe by next Friday. When the worm turns, there'll be a lot of people willing and thinking about getting out of the stock. But it's been one of the ones that makes me think that we've got a single stock holding up the entire market. So what do we have today? Well, we've been trying to be pushed down. We're only a couple of points higher than the low a day on the S&P. And what do we? We're right within a half a point or so of the high on the NASDAQ. So we're kind of seeing a tale of two cities. And we'll figure out what that has to do with the rest of it. In the meantime, let's just go ahead and get started and kick off the show with some histoire.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1949, an early crisis of the Cold War comes to an end when the Soviet Union lifts its 11-month blockade against West Berlin. The blockade had been broken by a massive U.S.-British airlift of vital supplies to Western Berlin for 2 million citizens, including all food, coal for heat during the winter, a lot of different stuff. The commies were well at it. They're still at it, by the way. But the commies were way at it, trying to exert their influence into the western part of Europe. But Uncle Joe, Stalin, what can you say? He kind of thought that we just lay down. We didn't. We stood up to a bully and a dictator and a commie. And 11 months later, we made it. So what do we have to say about this? Well, there will be a time for the strength of the free nations to be challenged. And I just hope that when the next time comes, we are up to it like we were in 1949, as so many of our flyboys kind of stuck a thumb in Uncle Joe's eye. We got far too many commies. Still got far too many commies. And what can you say? On this day in 1949, didn't have much of a chance to do anything with it, but the U.S. oil rig count was up for the 17th straight week, extending the longest stretch since 2011 of higher ones. When you look at the oil, didn't do much after that came out. It was probably fairly much around that same area, 47.66, the last tick I show. Gold up $3.60. I think it was up a little more earlier when I looked. Again, not a lot of movement off these lower prices. And as long as that rig count goes higher, I suspect oil goes lower. The question is what happens after we get through this weekend. If nothing happens in the Gulf for oil, could we see a big gap down come Monday? And I think the answer is yes. Let's start looking at charts out here because it is a fairly low news cycle business. Pretty much everything consumed by a handful of cable news outlets attacking a single individual who is now our president. So not much else is allowed to get through. Probably those aforementioned commies. What else do you have? Well, we're going to look at the chart. Now I got to do is find it. It used to be down here. I had it just here a minute ago. There we go. Want to start looking at something. We will look at Apple here and see if anything's actually happening. It just looks to me like everybody's going to bid this up like Beanie Babies. Little gap higher. Really what you need to look at is the volume, which is about 25 million shares so far. That was compared to 27 million shares yesterday, a little bit of a pullback. But if we go back to the 8th, we had almost 49 million shares. So we are a little higher out here. I've seen a lot of stocks continuing to roll throughout the day. So we'll see how today actually closes out the day. But I was looking for anything under 6102 to make a signal in the NASDAQ. Doesn't look like we're going to get that today. But I'm looking at a lot of options, and they all point to lower prices in through next week. Now, most of those are in the S&P, and that we see this down $5 today. Not such a big deal, but I'm looking weakness down to about 22.30. Don't have a heart attack. Through next Friday, we could get down as that low, but I'm thinking probably 23.30 looks very much like where a lot of people are thinking this market will close a week from today. Yeah, 23.30. Don't get too excited. I'm thinking we could be 60 points down at one point, maybe close 50 points down. What the options do show is there's little, I mean very little room, maybe 15 points on the upside is what they're considering, and 60 points on the downside when I looked at those options at about 11 o'clock today. So in fact, it's kind of one of the more interesting charts I've seen in a long time when it comes to expiration, and that is that they pretty much had an idea where the market was, or thought that they had a idea where the market was going to close out. But what did happen, in fact, I don't have it here. Sorry. Thought I might have it fairly easily at the tip of my fingers. Is very, very, they have really no idea. That's what I'm trying to say. They think that the market can close out anywhere from 23.80 all the way down to 23.20. It's one of the biggest, flattest expirations in over 2 years. So they're pretty much thinking that 23.80 is about as high as they're thinking for next week. Options expirations are about 80% positive, i.e. they should be higher than Wednesday. But what happens on that 20% will they do not? Well, that tends to be a over-exaggerated return to the norm. We'll be back after this.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we are back. Seems rather interesting to see Apple up here on a rather lighter volume. A little bit of a gap, but and we'll see how this thing works out. Certainly, option market makers are planning for a pullback in Apple over the next 5 weeks even. So not much happened on that. Let's take a look at some other charts. I wanted to go back. We haven't been looking at 52-week highs for a little while, so I wanted to go back through a few of them. Of course, Apple is number uno on the list. Let's get back here a little bit closer. It's done nothing but go straight up for a while. You got two kind of major gaps down here below, one at 145 and one at 125. Ambev is making a new high. So is there any associated volume? Well, you need about 30 million shares. So yesterday we had 24 million shares. Is that right? Oh, 51 million shares. So you did break out with a sign of strength yesterday in Ambev. Today, 26 million shares. So actually fairly decent. Looks like the SIN stocks are getting a little bit of action. Aetna, spiked today and kind of pulled back. No signal yet. Applied Materials, this one spiked a little bit on no volume. It's pulling back into the trading range, so you want to keep an eye on how that opens up on Monday. Avago, the other stock out here. Now, this is going through its March 13th high, 227.75. You needed 7.1 million shares. Last few days, you had 2.4 million shares, 1.5 million shares yesterday, 1.6 million shares so far. So again, this is the Apple supply chain having rather weak volume too. We saw Skyworks Solutions out with earnings, and also looked like Apple may miss their quarter and get basically it'll be first quarter 2018 before those new iPhones are in. At least that's the worry. Let's see what else out here. BDX, Beckinson Dickinson. This one popped the high today with 3 million shares. could not hit it. Is that right? Actually, 2.4 million shares. Could not hold it, and came right back into the trading range. So another good one to check out come Monday. Boyd Gaming, just by a few pennies, hit a 52-week high, gave it up and has pulled back. Again, light volume. Not a lot of volume in this market. We haven't talked about that yet. But, you basically are looking at a market with just 2 billion shares today. And again, that was we kind of sell off and then we push up with almost no volume, and continue to see very light short interest in almost all the big name stocks, which always sets us up for a big gap down because there aren't a lot of shorts to cover when the markets start heading lower. The Chemours company, another 52-week high, 3 million shares. It needed 5. But it is holding that high so far. CQH, which is Cheniere Energy Partners LP Holding, spiked the high this morning back into the trading range. CRM, Salesforce, up. Volume is about the same as it's been the last 20 days. No real signal one way or the other, and of course, no signal that that one's ready to roll over. Cognizant Technology Solutions, CTSH, little spike higher. Again, no volume here today compared to the last 4 or 5 days. 3D Systems made a nice little spike out here today. These 3D stocks have been kind of hot, but very declining volume. This one's up to $21.95 today, and it looks like it's going to hold it. DRI, which is Darden Restaurants, this is up on very light volume today, but holding the highs. To EDU, let's see. OPEC's the 25th, isn't it? Yeah, May 25th. Somebody's posting something in the den. Got a little spike out here. FNJN, a nice huge doji out here, but not much volume. Let's take a look at HP. HPQ, another 52-week high, wasn't able to hold its high from earlier in the day. It's back into the trading range. HRB, which is H&R Block, back up to a gap. Let's go back here a little ways, and that gap goes back to when this thing fell apart back on, what is that, April 4th of 2016. So over a year ago, this came down at with 22.3 million shares, and we're up in there with 1 million shares. So look at that one. Humana, these stocks have been clear, kind of creeping higher again today. This higher on no volume, but holding the high. IMMU, Indominix, IMMU, yeah, a little spike higher out here today. Man, it could close lower than yesterday's close. JD.com, the Chinese company, internet company, came out with earnings earlier. What was last week? This week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Monday. Had a nice sign of strength. It's continued up. Looks like it's probably ready to come back to that $30 to $8 area. McDonald's, another 52-week high. See if there's any juice in this one. Well, 1.7 million shares so far. The last gap up off those earnings were on April 25th. It had almost 11 million shares. Today, 1.7 million shares, but you are holding the high. Momo still has its Momo, not quite holding the previous high. Did have okay volume, but more of dark cloud cover potentially. RAI, Reynolds Aluminum. This thing has gone up a little tick each day. No volume on this day so far, anyway. We look at 4.35 million shares yesterday, 1.3 million shares today. So you got to be a little suspicious of a great deal of these 52-week highs that are failing or not getting enough juice. There's a handful that are. Another good day for Sanjemo Biosciences, SGMO. A little follow through from yesterday's huge gap up with 15.7 million shares, up today with let's call it 9 million shares so far. Shopify had earnings out earlier in the week. and a nice little gap. Maybe the earnings were last week. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. It gapped up on 6.1 million shares on the 2nd of May, but we got about 1.4 million shares as it spiked higher and unable to hold that. SQ, which is Square, had earnings earlier this week. Nice gap up. Gapped up on the 4th with 26.5 million shares. Really has done nothing but go sideways since then. Tried to hit its high again today and kind of back into the trading range. STKL, excuse me, Sun Optima, finally out of this previous high at $7.70, going back to December 9th in 2016. At 4.4 million shares, we are breaking that high today. We got a few more of these, then we'll look at the stinker list, look at some others. I'm not seeing a lot of love out here today. Be back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're looking at Mercado Libre, and they are a payment processing company for South America and Central America, too. Nice little pop out here today. Again, no juice. Yesterday, when this thing just went sideways, you had 1.2 million shares. Today, just 400,000 shares so far. So, again, not a lot going on. So what else do we have? Take-Two Entertainment. Let me get back to this. Take-Two Entertainment. Another 52-week high. It just ticked a little bit higher, 1 million shares compared to 2 days ago, 3 million shares as it hit that high. It's back into the trading range. VWO. On this one, just back up to this gap down that goes back to May 28th and 2015. Energy's kind of been, this looks like about as good as it gets. This is the third real major leg up, and the energy's fallen out since the first leg off the bottom on January 20th, 2016. Yahoo, I don't know if there's any, I haven't even looked at this in a while. I don't know if there's any reason to, but we will take yet another look at it very quickly and see if there's anything going on. Well, 52-week high, a little tick higher. No volume on this one, back into the trading range today. So not a sign of strength, really, what, 2, 3 out of all those? So again, not showing a broad-based front out here that things are going higher. Let's take a real quick look at the bottom 100 and see if there's any stocks out here that we want to look at. Most of these have blown up so badly that you don't care. CLD, see about that one. Cloud Peak Energy, I think it's going sideways. CLF, Cliffs Natural. This thing had a nice run. It's back getting into these gaps. I think we talked about this a week ago. These gaps going back to the 27th of October in 2016. And then you had yet another gap on the 7th of November in 2016. Those were about 11 million shares, and the first gap down, though, is about 36 million shares. So you might actually have a little bit of support right here at the $6 level, but I think it blows through there in the next few days, just based on what commodities are looking like and the way that the Baltic Dry Index has turned down. What else do we have? CPRT. We haven't talked about Copart in a while. I don't know if there's anything new to talk about in it. Let's see what else. DNR. Denbury Resources, another resources company. It's kind of bouncing around this level of about 170 to 220. Volume's about been the same. Energy on the way down's been about the same. This one it still looks like there's a good chance this thing could get back maybe just another 15, 20 cents lower into the signs of strength that go back to March of 2016. I don't see much in the way of that. Got a question to look at FCX quickly. We'll take a look at that. I don't see any. You're just in, it's kind of sealed this gap on November 9th over the last few days, but it's just gone sideways and continues. I guess the one good thing you could say is it's lower today on lighter volume so far, but there's no sign that anything's changing here yet. Let's see. Goro, Goro, Old Resources Company, kind of bouncing off some of these other stocks. I don't see much in the way of this one. It's just at support and bounce firstly, but that's about it. What else do we have? Hertz, of course, that had earnings disappointing as usual earlier this week. I think it was on Tuesday, wasn't it? Anyway, gap down, huge volume. Looks like 31 million shares. Today, about 5.5 million shares. But when you look at it, there's just nothing really to hang your hat on this one. My guess is $10 would kind of start showing up as support in the rental car business company, HTZ, on that one. And so many of these things are not worth talking about. See if we can find a few more out here. SDI, Tidewater, TDW, another drilling company. Is there anything you see in this one that makes you think that it's not going out of business? Well, you got a lot of volume down on this one today, breaking through the March 27th low that had 670,000 shares, doing so today with 5.2 million shares. So again, I didn't watch this intraday, but it certainly doesn't look like any of these things have done anything. It did kind of bounce off this, but way too much volume. And maybe there's some underlying news other than the rig count, but I don't know. It seems to me like a penny stock that just bounced. See anything else out here that I wanted to look at? U.S. Steel. This thing's been in a one-way roller coaster straight down. And it's just gone back to some gaps. It's filled some gaps that go back to the 9th of November. And let's see if there's anything else out here. I mean, it came down with huge volume. To me, the only buy in this thing now, maybe you get something else, but it's a September 16th, 2016 low at $15.68. I think that's about it. We'll take a look at some of the other stocks over the last few days. We have percentage answers. Those are stocks that gapped down. Answers. Let's take a look at the stocks that gapped up yesterday. See what we have in those. Dries did bounce a little bit. Let's take a look at this. In fact, let's get a little closer out here. But again, they continue playing with their stock. I don't know if that's real or not. Fox earnings, no big deal. IMAX, the memory manufacturer, gapped up yesterday, came right back down today. TCK Resources. Nothing on that. Yelp. I don't see anything else in that. Let's take a quick look at Amazon. Again, you gapped up. Volume's okay. You still haven't broken any trend lines, and there's no signals on this at 960. But again, if you really wanted to see something in the range of 7.4 million shares, we've got about 2.6 million shares today. So breaks above previous highs without much energy. So keep an eye on it. Be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're seeing a lot of stocks whiffing out here up on lighter volume. The TLT going into a weekend a little higher. Not much volume, though. Again, we've got to watch what happens. But this looks like it's going to be an extremely light of volume day. Just 2.2 billion shares with an hour and 20 minutes. And normally there's not a lot of buying going into the weekend. So could we be looking at a sub 3 billion share day on the NYSE consolidated tape? It's going to be light, maybe 3.1 billion shares. It's going to be a very quiet day for a lot of these stocks. And of course, we're just interested in these ones kind of turtling above previous highs on light volume. Saw a new high in Domino's today. Just no volume. Been declining for 4 days as it's held these highs. FireEye had a nice earnings bump. It's been going sideways for the last 5-6 days. What's the name of that ETF? Pack. We talked about this one the other day, which is in this sector. What I disliked about it is it broke the February 22nd high that had 750,000 shares with this 500,000 shares on the 10th. So the only ETF you really have in this sector did kind of come up off of, with lighter energy off the April 18th low. Did test on lighter volume on the high. FireEye might be the exception to the rule. JCOM, to take a look at this, J2 Communications Global, down to its gap up on the 24th of April. That had 275,000 shares. Back into it today with 300,000 shares. PRXL, which is Parallax International. This one's had a good ride and a sign of strength, but just pennies higher. Again, fairly light volume. YY, the Russian company, in the last 4 days, kind of been going sideways. Again, a very light volume day today. Let's see, looked at TC, see if there's others here on my list that I wanted to get back to. Go back to a few of these that actually had earnings, see how they've done. Had a little spike with Eagle Bulk Shippers, and there's just not much here to say. Opened higher, closed lower, it's gone sideways the last 2 days. EOG, we talked about that one already. G&K, which is another earnings. Okay, had to do something very quickly. What did we have on this? And that is, you're back down. Opened higher on the earnings, rolled over. Not much energy today, though, on the pullback. This looks to me like this thing's going to go back down to 950 yet again. Meetup, MEET. Gap down with heavy volume on the 9th. Did so on 11.3 million shares. The next 3 days down are to this March 16th low with 4 million shares. You got 1.5 and a doji out here today. So support finally coming in for Meet Me Incorporated. OText, Open Text. Gap down on huge volume. This thing actually moving closer to that 32.05 low of the 9th. Let's go back a little farther out here, see if anything else is broken in this. You've certainly broken the uptrend. Got a high volume around 29 bucks. And that may be the likely place for that to settle. But looking pretty ugly out here that's not holding anything. Pandora and its fake buyout didn't seem to do that much for it this week. They were just really sure in the next 30 days they were going to have a buyout offer. I noticed that Spotify had some news out that they're going to be IPOing in the next year or so. Who knows how soon that means. But just a horrible business. But you've broken previous lows. You've done so with lighter volume. The market doesn't believe all the hoopla about a potential buyout. It rolled over on that news too on earnings. So there just isn't much out here for these music companies, as they tend to continue to be giant pits of money that you can just burn. Retina Therapeutics, we talked about this one. The pet company had a nice little pop into earnings. It's just gone sideways for the last few days on that. Post Holdings, and gap down on earnings, a little bit of pullback, but actually this looks like a short. It came down on earnings with 3 million shares. You reversed it on the next day, up on 1.8 million shares. Yesterday, 1.6. Today to 600,000 shares as you push a little bit more into that gap down. Ruger, RGR. Take a quick look at this one. Actually, fairly decent earnings. I thought that maybe these were over. A lot of short covering on this. Almost 1 million shares back into the November 7th, 2016 high at 64.89. And you had nice juice. It's kind of gone sideways for the last 3 days. So again, on a day when you've got the S&P off 4 points and the NASDAQ up 6, not going to find a ton of stocks. How much time we have here? Let's take a look. Is that Nordstrom's? JWN. Didn't look very good last night. JWN. We'll see how this one did. Retail is stunk. We'll have to play the super big loser horn for this one. I have a feeling. If we can find it. Yeah, we got it. Again, none of these have really looked good this week. It's down on monstrous volume. You wanted to see less than 2.65 million shares for the March 22nd low. We're already coming in with that to 15 million shares. Pennies also was coming out. Take a look at that. Not so much of a move. Oh, Penny, what is it? JCP, excuse me. Was coming out. Not so much in that. Do we see anything? There we go. And, of course, a predictable gap down in pennies. Again, retail just stinketh, and there's nothing else you can do. But, man, this looks, as I said yesterday, this thing looked like it could certainly be in bankruptcy trouble. But, again, Sears was too, and they can financial engineer themselves into several more years of high CEO pay, whether or not they're out of business anytime soon, who knows? But at this point, if you're short, I think you cover, and you just wait for the inevitable in Pennies and probably many malls across the country. We'll be back after this short time out. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Yeah, we're seeing if anything coming across the wire that looks exciting at all. See anything out here? All kind of, Take a look at Shake Shack, another one with earnings that didn't turn out that well, if I remember correctly. SHAK. Oh, actually, it did bounce. Wrong. Nice volume on that earnings day of the 5th, 5.6 million shares. I looked at that after hours. I thought it was down. What do we have? A nice move higher, and of course, actually getting ready to close lower than the high of the 5th that day that it did kind of break out. Again, I think a lot of people are predicting kind of the end of the world on some of these, and they were just over short going into them. Let's see what else out here. Ford. Really? FORD? Must be another Ford, because that's an F. That. See if there's anything in here. JC Penney, we already covered that. Cimarex Energy declares a dividend. See, I haven't taken a look at this one for a little bit. So let's see on this. It didn't seem to do it much good out here. Down, but at least on lighter volume today. 114.06, the May 4th low. Looks like the next thing going on out here. EC up 6% earlier today. Is that EC correct? Yeah, it is. Back up into its resistance zone. This goes back to a gap down on the, what is that, June 10th, 2016. It's gap down on 1.1 million shares, up on 1.8. So actually not looking too bad out here. Get some other ones out here. See if there's anything else moving with the last couple of minutes. See that I want to look at it. Sega Sammy. Twillo. Yeah. Take a quick look at that. TWLO. The CEO is buying some shares today. Of course, this thing had a disastrous earnings debacle of epic and glacial importance. It came down, of course, on 23.7 million shares. It's just kind of back up to where that huge down day was. There's another gap right about 27.50. My guess is that this could kind of meander back up to that 27.50, where it would probably find a ton of people willing to get out of this as quickly as they can. See, what else do we have? Take a look at it. There's a lot of small stocks that are moving out here, not stocks that I want to be talking about. AstraZeneca, AZN, is a big mover out here today. Positive results from phase 3 Pacific study assessing its Duravalumab, branded as Infinity, treatment of patients with locally advanced non-small cell lung cancer who had not progressed following platinum-based chemotherapy with radiation therapy. Huh. So anyway, it's phase 3 study, so they're fairly close. Normally they will get a so 7%. IPB. Do that Monday. We come back. So one of the big winners up here today, on a positive note, give me a call. Or no, give me. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you Monday.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.